Nicole here with Obscure Reptiles and Caging, and today we're going to be talking about some changes with MorphMarket. So let's get started. Hey guys, so I'm sitting here with little Teo today, and I'm going to talk about a couple of things involving MorphMarket. There's been a few changes made. I know a lot of people are really happy about them. Some people are not so happy. We're going to talk about all of that, a couple of my things that I've come up with and thought. But I am a paying member of MorphMarket. I have been for quite a long time, and I plan to continue for the whole foreseeable future. I really enjoy MorphMarket. I'm going to start off with that. Everyone's entitled to their opinions, and I've got a few, especially when it comes to the newest features. So the most recent feature is a auction. So the way the auction works is you are able to set a reserve if you want to. You can have a no reserve. I did set one. By the time this video I actually get around to editing it, I'm sure my 5 days will be up. But you get to pick how long you want it. I think between 1 and 7 days. And you can pick a starting bid, so it can start at $0, start at $200, whatever you want. And so far it looks really cool. As of right now, it's only been live I think 3, 4, maybe 5 days, but it already has over 320 listings, and that's not including ones that I'm sure I've already finished up in the last day. People did shorter ones. I think it's a super awesome feature. I'm glad they're doing it. If you guys were ever a part of the Facebook auctions way back when, those I used to really enjoy. I feel like it really gets people involved, it gets people amped up, people get hyped. I know if I see something really cool, my first instinct is just hit bid now. But some people have not been very happy about it. I've seen a lot of negative things about it, and the biggest thing that I've really been able to see people being negative about it is that it's undercutting the pricing, and if you're gonna do that, you might as well just wholesale. But on the flip side, the first thought I had was, well, isn't wholesaling, a lot of people, myself included, to wholesale an animal, you have to be selling at least, let's say, 5, 10, 15 animals at a time to get that discounted price. So isn't it actually worse for the market to sell multiple snakes at super cheap than, let's say, you just win an auction and you get a snake cheap? I thought that was kind of strange. A lot of people were saying that it was going to drop the price of snakes, but if you're only allowed to do one auction a month currently, which I think is fantastic. I know a lot of big breeders would want to do a bunch, but I think that would just overflood the market a lot. But one a month, or let's say a big breeder like Bob Vu, he could do up to, let's say, 5 because he's got a few hundred animals available at all time. I can see that. But for the average Joe, you really don't need that, especially with the wholesaling, stuff like that. People have been very positive, and then other people have been very negative. I've seen some really nasty comments and posts, and I don't really understand the crazy negative. I understand people don't like change, but things change, things progress. When you don't try something new, you're never going to know if it's going to succeed or fail. But overall, I think auctions are going to be really awesome if they're kept to a minimum. I'm sure sooner or later they'll do things like the overtime, like old Facebook rules were something like if you add a bid within the last 5 minutes, you gain 5 more minutes, and that you could kind of go back and forth with people and really raise up the money of what that snake's worth. I don't know if you could do like notifications, and if you want to follow a certain snake, they'll send you an email 20 minutes before an auction's going to end. That'll drum it up. But I think it's good for the overall breeder. I think it's good for the people who want to buy. A word of warning for people: I have seen quite a few snakes actually going for more money than what the going price is. So I am totally one of those people who, I see something cool, I think it's kind of, the price seems reasonable, let's just bid on it. But I've seen quite a few snakes on there that the bids were already higher than the asking price of the original animal, which is great for that breeder. And snakes, any reptile can be sold for any price. It's completely up to the person selling. A lot of people want the cheapest thing that there is, but that's not always what's best. People want, there's 2 snakes that look exactly the same. One's $100 cheaper, let's go $100 cheaper. But if that's just Billy Bob breeding down the road, and he just breeds a little bit here and there, and he doesn't really care about his animals, or you want to deal with, like, let's say a breeder like me, I'm going to answer your questions. I love to get update photos. In 5 years, when you breed that snake and you can't identify the clutch, or you have questions about genetics, or why did he decide to stop eating after 5 years, if you don't have good customer service and you're not willing to answer that kind of stuff, maybe that extra $100 would have actually been pretty worth it to get someone who's going to answer your questions, who's going to talk to you, who's going to be reliable. I've also had people who respond to me a ton, and then as soon as I drop that $1,000 on that snake, I don't get any response until the snake's already been shipped, delivered, and I've already messaged them 4 or 5 times. And I get people are busy, but if you're trying to run a business, you have to have the best customer service. So sometimes it's worth the extra $100 to buy from somebody reputable with good customer service that you have a little bit of confidence in. But those are just a few things I've seen when it came to auctions. But yeah, I think they're going to do really well. If you guys want to bid on the one that I'm doing, it's probably going to be over. Hopefully she sells. She's actually listed as lower than half of what her asking value is. So hopefully we can sell her. She's actually the last baby we have from 2023 available. But the other change, the one that I'm not the biggest fan of, is MorphPay. So I listened to a podcast with Darian, who is the owner of MorphMarket, and he was saying how only, I believe it was like 5 or 7% of people were actually using it, and he was pretty disappointed with that number. But as a smaller breeder, which I believe, let's say if you have 50 clutches or less a season, you're a small breeder, and that would be me. And I would think that that's most and the majority of breeders on MorphMarket. I could be wrong, but that's just my guess. But for me, being a small breeder, I have Venmo, PayPal, and I sell a lot of things locally with cash. And I just recently got a Cash App. A lot of the time for those things, even though I still pay tax at the end of the year, it doesn't always necessarily mean the fee is going to be taken out, because a lot of people will just do a deposit through those different venues, and I end up being able to profit more as a small breeder. It's not like I'm making a ton of money off these animals and I'm getting upset over a few dollars, but when you have to use something like, for example, MorphPay, which I don't like Square to begin with, just because of how much they take compared to other things, other, like, let's say PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. So personally, as a breeder, a small breeder who has used certain things for the last 10 years and it's gone fantastic, I don't really want to have to put the effort and work into learning about Square, learning about their policies, joining, making a new account, setting it up, being able to me personally, for someone to be able to just click buy now is going to not work with the way I sell animals. When people want to buy from me, I want to make sure they have knowledge of the animal, they're willing to at least learn. I always send people a care guide video for ball pythons that I personally made with all the information. I like to answer people's questions before they purchase the animal. That way they know all the facts, everything there is to know about that animal before, money's already been transferred. I don't really know any MorphMarket transactions that I've done that people didn't have at least 5, 10, 15 questions or asked about photos or this and that and the other. So I don't like the option of people just buy now. I don't want to be a website like that. I want to be able to talk and communicate and make sure my animals are going to a good place. Even though I believe they put it on hold for 24 hours for me to confirm or deny, and that's supposed to give me enough time to talk to that person, I work full time, and let's say they don't message me till Friday, I'm working, then I'm towing my camper to go camping, then Saturday I don't have service. That doesn't really give me much time to discuss with that person and make sure that they're knowledgeable, especially if they're working, let's say a night shift, something like that. That, to me, doesn't really, that's not how I really want to sell my animals. I'd rather sell less, but the people I'm selling to are quality people who are really going to take care of these animals, because I breed for the animals. And the other thing that I'm not a fan of is you get that buy now button. So let's say Babu, you go to any of his snakes, there's a buy now. But if you go to any of my snakes, there isn't a buy now because I'm not hooked up. So let's say me and, not Bob, because we're nowhere near the same level. Let's say another small breeder has the exact same animal that I have with the exact same price, side by side. One says buy now, one doesn't. I think, especially people who've never used MorphMarket before, it's going to look sketchy that the buy now doesn't work, or that there isn't a buy now for this guy, but this one has it, so we're just going to go through that breeder. So it's going to lose sales. The whole point of MorphPay is to be able to make it easier and for people to have the option to have it. They don't have to have it. But by doing that, it kind of forces us to get it, or we're probably going to be losing sales. People are probably looking at our stuff and not purchasing. Or if I go to close a deal and somebody has purchased other snakes, let's say from Bob, and there's a buy now button, and I'm over here with Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App, that person could be like, no, I just want to use my credit card, never mind, I don't want to deal with the hassle. And then I lose sales that way as well, because they're so used to, just putting in a credit card, not having to answer any questions, and that's it. I still don't think I'm going to get Square. I actually have an email. I actually use Square through my website, and I don't use any of the sale features because, again, I want people to talk to me. I want to have that discussion. I want to know my animal is going to a good home, a knowledgeable home, and has the best chance of having a good, long 30, 40-year life. And I don't feel like the MorphPay really is allowing that. Maybe if it gave you a week to agree or disagree on the snake, maybe they have to message you back and forth so many times first, or they took away the buy now button and they just put like a MorphPay button or an email button. I feel like that would be more helpful, again, to our smaller breeders. And a lot of us small breeders are doing the best we can. I personally work 40 to 70 hours a week doing construction every single week. I try to go out and do things. I've got 100 snakes. I got all these animals behind me. I've got other things, family to take care of, a house to maintain. So little things like adding like the new MorphPay and stuff, I'm sure it is helping some bigger breeders, but I can't really see the positive of helping us smaller breeders. If you disagree with anything, put it in the comments below. Just make sure that you're nice about it. I'm just giving you guys my opinion. Doesn't mean that I'm right or wrong. If you guys have any questions, or again, you want to say anything about how you guys feel about either the auctions or MorphPay, put them in the comments below. If you haven't already, please subscribe. We do videos every single week, and I'll see you guys in the next video.